property is a team sport. So for all you property developers out there, although you are the leader and although it is very much your business and your project, I think sometimes we can all admit that it can feel a bit lonely. So we really like to think of property as a team sport, and we like to acknowledge all of the other people who need to come together with their expertise to make things happen and to see our vision come to fruition. So just thought we would jump on and discuss a little bit about who we think needs to be in your property power team and what their roles are. One of the first people that we'd like to touch base with is the agents or sources. So estate agents can be a great connection and contact for property developers. I think it's important to not just keep them as gatekeepers, but is to treat them as friends and to treat them as colleagues and involve them in the business. Let them understand what you're looking for, let them understand what you're looking to do with your business. Are you looking for properties to flip? Are you specifically focused on bungalows? Are you looking for small plots of land to do new build? The more they can understand about your remit, the more they can start to tailor it towards finding you the right stock, not just sending you generic things that come across their desk. So I think it's very important that you have a clear guideline of what you're looking for and why you're looking for that, so that you can feed into that and they can understand it. Equally for sources can be a fantastic resource. I'm sure any of you out there who've been a developer for a while have experienced this with sources, where you'll get people sending you a Rightmove link and they think they've done their job. Those are not the people you want to work with. However, if you find the right sourcer, they can bring you off-market deals, they can package them correctly, they can negotiate discounts on them so that by the time you've adjusted for their fee, you're actually still paying below market value on off-market deals. So they really are another great contact to have. I think it's important that we find the good ones. If you're working in a specific area, find out who is renting and selling most of the apartments or most of the houses or blocks in that area. Go and approach that estate agent, speak to them, build a connection, understand who's in charge, who's in the sales team, who's in the rentals team. Same with your sources. Work with people. LinkedIn's a great way to find them. And don't settle for the ones who are subpar. Don't settle for the Rightmove link and that's all that they send you. Work with people who have got access to off-market, who are packaging things efficiently so that they're adding that value and that time. And obviously you are going to pay a fee for this service, but just factor the fee in during your initial due diligence, during your initial numbers, and most of the time it'll still work out. I think it's important that we take a lot of ownership as well onto ourselves. So we need to act swiftly and professionally. If somebody's sending you a property, they don't want to wait 2 or 3 weeks to get your feedback. So I think it's important that you set time aside, do that due diligence, and to feed back to them in detail. Thank you for sending me this. This is why it does or doesn't work for me, and these are the next steps. So again, they can appreciate if they send you something, they might get something that's off market that they've not yet uploaded. And if they know you come back to them in a day or two, they might not upload that until you've got your feedback. However, if you're going to feed back in 2 or 3 weeks, it's not something they're going to hold. Everybody likes to be treated courteously and professionally, so I think it's important that we remember to do the same with people. And again, communicate well. Understand what they need, let them understand what you need, and work together as a team. So first one, agents and sources. Number 2, solicitor. Very important person when you're working in property. Obviously, I think it's crucial to be open and honest with them. Share your business structure, share your business journey, share your business aspirations, so they understand where you are now and where you're going, kind of what your risk profile is and the type of deals that you're going to be dealing with. This allows them to get a real overview in terms of where you are now, where you want to go, and how they can assist. Also, how they need to manage your risk and what kind of risk profile you've got. We've got a solicitor who we've worked with for a long time. They're a really great string to our bow, and we value them highly. So they are going to deal with all of the compliance on stuff. They're going to be your second check to everything, and obviously all your conveyancing will be dealt with and needs to be dealt with by a solicitor. So really important person to find. Make sure you're approaching numerous different solicitors when you first start off. Try different firms in different areas. Speak to people and find out who resonates with you, and obviously get an idea on budgets. What do they charge for X, Y, and Z, so that you can make sure that their fees tailor in and match what your affordability is at the time. It is one of those where potentially some of these people will change across your journey. You might start as a property investor who's working full-time and doing this on the side on the weekend, just starting with property flips, and then you end up doing large commercial to residential deals. You might then need to change some of the people in this team, but I think it's important to recognize that they are part of your journey and to treat them accordingly. Number 3 is a broker or brokers. So finance brokers can be a really, really great addition to the team. They're not just somebody who puts a mortgage in place. Again, if they understand your business, if you can bring that wealth of knowledge to them to say, look, this is where my business is, this is what I want to be focused on, this is the kind of deals I want to do, this is my financial situation as it stands, this is what assets I've got in the background. They can then really plan strategically how they can get you the best finance options. Some of these brokers have got access to high net worth individuals, to family offices, to banks that you couldn't just approach. So again, they need to understand the strategy, they need to understand what your exit is and what you're looking to achieve. And if you can work closely with a broker and somebody who's presenting your information well, who understands you, who can kind of speak on your behalf and who believes in your mission, they can really put forward some creative deals and they can save you a lot of money in the financing space. Finance is very expensive, depending on what you're looking at and how you're running it, but brokers can save you thousands. So a really good broker, again, somebody who you enjoy working with, who you can pick the phone up to and have open, honest conversations, is a great person to add into your team. Next, once you've acquired the property, an architect or a planner. So they are the person that you work with to bring the project to life. They create on paper what you've got in your mind. So again, they might change with your strategy, but it's important that you resonate with your architect. So work with somebody who's got experience doing the types of projects that you're doing currently. Work with somebody where they've got a portfolio behind them, so you can look at previous work, you can understand how they operate. And just somebody who's got a similar vision to you. If you're very artistic, if you're looking at creating, a beautiful refurbishment product, make sure you've got an architect who mirrors that. Make sure you've got an architect, if you're doing commercial to residential, who understands how to utilize existing buildings, how to be creative with space, because if he can gain you some net floor area, that's going to gain you more profit. So they're really important people to work with, and again, you need to be able to share your vision and share your mission so they understand that on each individual project and they understand the goals that you're looking to achieve. Planners are really useful. We don't use them on every property development deal we do. We tend to pick and involve planners on deals that might be a little bit more contentious from a planning perspective. So if something is permitted development rights and we know that it should be quite a seamless process, we'll just have an architect on board. However, if we're doing something that is grade 2 listed in a town centre, which we have done before, we'll then bring a planner on board. Planners are there to work alongside the architect. They put the background knowledge into place. They put the legislation into place, or they use the legislation that's in place to justify why this development should take place, why the local council and local authority should work with you to bring this project to life. So they're a very important part of the puzzle, especially on stuff where it could be a little bit contentious. They can save you a lot of time back and forth with planning, and there is nothing more painful than a planning refusal. So if you're going to involve the planner, again, involve them from an early on stage. Let them give you that initial input to say, yes, we think we can get this through, and this is what legislation is in place that we can lean on to say your development meets this legislation and is in line with the council's vision, and therefore we feel confident that it can be passed. So the architect and planner work hand in hand. Like I say, we don't always use them both, but I think you need both in your team, and on anything that's slightly contentious, planners are worth their weight in gold. The final one I want to discuss today is your contractor. So we've worked with various contractors, and I think one of the biggest things that we've picked up on is a good contractor really is like gold dust. If you can build a rapport with a contractor who understands your business, who understands why the timeframes are so important, why quality is important, why you are delivering what you are delivering, and who is on board to deliver the same project that you guys are. I think that's really, really, really important. There's a lot of people out there who aren't looking to do that. They're just looking to do the one project and move. We're looking to build relationships with those people and do multiple projects with them, looking to streamline that process so that we can get better at costings, we can get better at quoting things up, we can get better at putting timeframes and cash flow schedules together. And by working as a team with your contractor and building that relationship, we believe it really allows you to do that. So some tips I would have is make sure you've got a really strong, detailed scope of works. Don't expect a detailed quote if you can't give them a detailed scope of works. And if you're not, then you really are comparing apples with oranges when you get your quotes back, because you need to ensure that your contractors have got the information to quote accurately and to quote like for like. So that's a really big one. Communicate as well on your timeframes and your drawdown schedules. So when are you going to pay them, at what intervals, and at what landmark stages? I think it's also important to then understand the contractor side of things. So can they deliver on time? If not, why not? Sometimes you also don't just want a yes man. You want somebody who's going to push back on things when you might have an unrealistic expectation. You want to understand how they deal with long lead time items, what subcontractors they've got in their network versus who is directly employed by them in-house. You want to understand how they manage logistics, who is going to be the site manager on that job, and just how they work as a general team. What are their goals? What are their visions? Go and look at sites that they've worked on and delivered previously. Go and see the standard that they are able to build to. And then also understand their financial stability in the background as well. Have a look at their company accounts. Understand how big their business is. Are they somebody that can cash flow this and that can deal with the kind of projects that you're dealing with? So yeah, I think contractors don't rush into the decision of who's going to be the principal contractor on the site, or even subcontractors for that matter. Make sure you're doing your due diligence, make sure you're having those honest upfront conversations and you're getting all the information you need before you make that decision. And if and when you find a great contractor, really nurture that relationship, really make them feel valued and look after them, because they really will be a fantastic part of your network. I hope you found this video useful, and don't forget, property is a team sport.